Yeah, hi.
Okay.
When I saw how long this separation was lasting, I wanted to think of some ways that I could bring in money or make some money if you didn't ever come back. So that's when I asked if you would co-sign on a loan if I found a house, and maybe I could Airbnb it or rent it out, or I've been playing with numbers in my head and I think I could make something, but I don't want to be dumb and I want to be very conservative. So I pulled the money and I have it in a bag.
Hey friends, it's Katie from Without a Crystal Ball. Welcome back to my channel. It's Friday, March 22nd, 2024. I hope all of you are having a wonderful day. Washington County prosecutors in Utah released a treasure trove of evidence related to Ruby Franke's case. And never before calls from after her arrest on August 30th of 2023 have been released, along with videos, photographs, her journals, interviews with Kevin Franke, and recorded video of the day that she and Jodi were taken in custody. Phone calls from the very early days back in August of 2023 and September of 2023 show that at the time that she had been picked up and the kids had been removed, Kevin was still very much in the corner of Ruby and very much still of the belief that she was and had done nothing wrong and that everything would be fine. And he believed that she knew the truth. He believed in his wife, and he was in disbelief of everything that had happened. Kevin actually went to the police department on the day everything happened, and he was praising Jodi before he knew any of the details. He was saying that he trusted his wife. He was saying that he trusted that they were making the right decisions. He also admitted that he hadn't seen the kids in over a year and hadn't talked to them at all. Kevin's feelings about the situation evolved over time, but on the day that he went to go get his kids, believing that all he was doing was going to pick up his kids, not realizing the magnitude of everything, Kevin complained to authorities about the 2020 incident that occurred on YouTube, where Ruby uploaded information about Chad and shared details about Chad in a bedroom and a beanbag. Kevin showed up to this police department without them contacting him because Ruby had told him to come pick up the kids. So they were actually perplexed why he was showing up, and at the time were unclear about what his involvement was in the situation. And while they were questioning him, they brought up the fact that on their previous channel, 8 Passengers, there had been a lot of heat that had come down on them back in 2020 related to neglect and CA of the children. And when he was confronted with this is what Kevin said.
That's a good question. We had a son who was acting out in very selfish behavior.
Is this Chad or a different
Yes,
Chad?
this was Chad. And none of this is strange or odd. You could get on YouTube and find out all sorts of stuff on this.
It's like a double-edged sword.
Whereas the question is, what do you believe, right?
Yeah.
There was even an article written in Newsweek magazine in 2020 on it, was it Newsweek? No, Business Insider, where we were interviewed, and we were pretty straightforward, and we talked about it, and we shared our piece in that. basically it boils down to he was being very cruel and mean to his siblings that he shared a room with, and so we removed him from the room. And we said, you can sleep anywhere you want. Sleep on the couch, sleep on the pull-out bed, sleep on the floor for all we care, but you're not sleeping in that room with your brother. He chose to sleep on a beanbag. So 9 months later, he had made a lot of changes in his life. And he was ready to, and we had moved by that time. And so we had a new house, and he was ready to move into his own bedroom. Made a video about it. And in the video, he mentioned something to the effect of, I've been sleeping for 9 months on a beanbag. And that is what all the uproar was about.
What did you guys do to help, like, with his behavioral issues? Is that something you and Ruby talked about together? And then did you help him discover yourself and fix behavioral issues and things like that? Is that something you and Ruby sought out to help correct, like, some of the things?
Yes, and
Okay.
and I supported it, and so together we held boundaries for our son Chad to support his choosing honest and responsible choices. And when he chose honest and responsible choices consistently is when he began to get his privileges back. And that was
Great parenting, right?
well, that was the uproar, right?
Yeah.
And so, but yes, through 2000 I was with him because I'm honoring the no contact separation boundary with that I agreed to with my wife. But I understand that he's 18, living on his own somewhere in Provo and working and supporting himself.
What other kids went down to visit Jodi?
What other kids?
Yeah, did you send any of the other kids down to spend time with Jodi?
We didn't send Chad down to spend time with Jodi. They would meet on Zoom.
That makes sense.
Okay.
Yeah, we were in Springfield. Well, even in 2019, she would meet with Chad on Zoom.
So when did Ruby and Jodi, to your knowledge, like, decide to collaborate?
So Ruby met Jodi back in 2018, and it was in 2019 that Jodi began providing parenting advice to Ruby and to Kevin about how to handle Chad. And in that portion of the police clip, you hear him effectively justifying what it was that they did and also omitting a lot of the details about why there was an uproar on social media about what Chad said. It wasn't just about sleeping on a beanbag. It wasn't just about the fact that he didn't have a bedroom. It was far deeper than that. They took away his bedroom. They took the door off of his bedroom. He slept on the floor at times and on a beanbag. He was sent away to a wilderness camp. They sent Eve at this time, who was 6 years old, to school without food. All of these were parenting tips that Jodi Hildebrandt had given to them, and they followed and thought it was fine. So on the day that Ruby was arrested, Kevin was actually defending her. On this day after she was arrested, he called her to talk about the charges and about what was going to happen. And in this portion, you're going to hear their phone call where they talk about the money and about what's going to happen moving forward.
I want to be very conservative, so I pulled the money, and I have it in a bag. And
With you? Do the police have it?
well, I don't know what the police took. I don't know what the police have.
But the bag was at Jodi's house?
They can't just take people's money. I mean, that's not right.
Well, they're not going to take the money, but when they have a search warrant, they have access to everything in the house.
Sure. Yeah.
I have a feeling we're going to need that money.
We might do. So, I haven't been making big purchases. I've been very conservative. I think the biggest expense has been the kids' schooling, and that's they have enough curriculum to get them for a couple years. So.
Okay. I just received a text from Ted Dawson out of the blue. Ted Dawson, who I haven't heard from in years.
What, he just texted you?
Yeah, the story's out. So he said, Stormy sent me an article and it just broke my heart. I just wanted you to know I'm thinking about you, and if I can ever be a resource, we are always here.
Are we in the news?
It sounds like that at least you're in the news. I don't know about me. I don't know what he's talking about. But
I'm wondering if they went to Sherry to, ask her questions.
I don't know.
These bookings are public.
I know they are. And a couple months ago, Business Insider was reaching out to me, and I ignored their email. But I'm going dark.
This is a witch.
I'm not at BYU. I'm not at BYU anymore, so I don't know how they're going to find me.
Yeah, maybe it was a blessing. This is a witch hunt. The devil's been after me for years, and he's mad at. I have not said a word until I have an attorney.
Okay, well, you know that this phone call is being recorded.
You have 1 minute remaining for this call.
Yes, that will come out. That will come out.
Okay.
When we were driven to the jail, the detective was putting us in the car, and Jodi said, "I trust you." So
they're going to be in the hospital for 3 days.
So weird. It's just not necessary. They're trying to exaggerate that.
Well, they didn't show me.
Like the hero.
Well, they didn't show me any pictures or anything, but the way they described it, it was very serious.
You have exceeded the allowable time for this call. Goodbye.
At this point, Ruby was calling the online discussions about her and the media frenzy around her a witch hunt, and people trying to take her down for years. And at this point, Kevin doesn't have all of the details because they're not sure if he's not involved in all of this. And he hasn't seen photographs. And he was told in an interview with police about what happened and that he would not be given the kids. The kids were going to be in DCFS custody. He would not be allowed to talk to them, and they needed to seek treatment for what had happened to them. And when he is confronting her about how they're going to be in the hospital for 3 days, she's calling it an exaggeration. They have released the photographs of the kids, and the way that they looked is horrific. And I'm not going to show the photographs because they are so graphic. It's easy to understand that maybe Kevin at this point didn't understand the full scope and he was still under the brainwashing, but at the same time, a part of me, he knew that Jodi believed she was possessed by devils and that she was up all night thrashing because she was being possessed, and he still left his kids with her. The level of brainwashing and just sheer lack of common sense, it blows my mind. And Ruby was playing the victim at this. Now, there's another clip from the same day where they go and talk more about the house and separation so that he can get the kids.
And please see the truth. I know it's obscured.
I'm where I see the facts, I see the truth, and that's what I'm gathering.
You know my heart.
What are they charging you with?
2 charges of second-degree felony for child abuse.
2 charges of second-degree felony child abuse.
Yes.
Okay. Wow. That's very serious.
It's interesting, I had the prompting over the last month to read Viktor Frankl. Like, I was reading him, and it was like, the worst part was not knowing the end. He said he had an inmate that's man searched for meaning, and he was a prisoner in World War II, and he said the worst part and the greatest bringing of depression was not the lack of food, and it wasn't the weather conditions, it was not knowing how long it would last. So I think I was prepared for this. I do feel strong, I feel calm. And you know what, adults have a really hard time understanding that children can be full of evil and what that takes to fight it. You've seen what it takes to fight evil. It's not the person you're fighting. And it can look like something it's not. And you've been there, you know that. And so I don't know any adults who are going to see the truth. So I'm calm about this, and I just pray that you'll hang in there.
You have 1 minute remaining for this call.
I think I can call back, but...
Yeah, but just in case, I'm preparing to step up and fight for the children. They've been taken, and there's going to be a hearing in the next couple of days here in Provo.
I'm sorry, I signaled to Jodi. Will you say that one more time?
Yes, I'm prepared to step up and fight for the children. They've been taken into custody. They're in foster care, and there's going to be a hearing within the next 2 or 3 days.
What about Abby and Julie?
Them too. All 4 were taken.
Where did they go to get Abby and Julie?
I don't know. While I was with them, they got Abby, and they were looking.
You have exceeded the allowable time for this call. Goodbye.
Jodi's MO of making evil good and good evil is so on par with so many other cults, so that once something bad happens to someone, they can't even recognize that what happened to them is bad. And Ruby believes that what she did to the kids was fighting evil. She believed that she was casting out evil from them. And she's saying the world recognizes this as a crime, but I'm fighting for their souls. And Kevin didn't say anything. And during the same conversation, she's talking about the crime and what she's being charged with, and he's recognizing that it's serious, but he's still fighting for her, and he's still fighting for the kids, and he doesn't recognize that what they've done is wrong yet. This was the day after she was arrested. And he was going to go dark and not be online, and yet then he sent his attorney out to do all of these interviews. The next day, they spoke on the phone again. It's an interesting chain of events that happens here. She takes money out. They're going to move with the kids because she wants to isolate them further so R can't run away again. It's a witch hunt. Good is evil. Evil is good. Kevin's going to fight for the kids. And on the next call, he's still dedicated to their marriage.
You had to put her in a chair, and it was horrible. It was torturous last night, hearing the screaming and the banging and people. It's like, okay, that's upsetting, but the most upsetting thing is that I am completely misunderstood. That is the most horrible feeling. Like, my own family misunderstands me, they misinterpret me, and poor Jodi, they misinterpret her, they misunderstand her. She puts her neck out on the line for people, and then they get mad at her. I mean, it is just horrendous. It's horrendous. And you know what? Every Joseph Smith, every wonderful man of God has had to be misunderstood.
That's right.
And so I'm going to get out of this. Who knows? Maybe in 10 days I'll get out of this. If I'm, if truth prevails right now, or, who knows, like 20 years? I don't know. I don't know how long. But I'm going to step out. I'm going to say I went through everything. I have seen God's children suffer. All the people here, my jail cellmates, have been beautiful women, but they've been hurt. You know, they've been deceived into drugs, and my heart just has so much compassion for them. And I have compassion for the cops, and I have compassion for myself. And then to be told that I'm suicidal, I'm like, no, that's not true. Anyway, if you need to let
Sherry, that was either Sherry or one of your siblings.
Well, they're all in cahoots. One means all of them, but yes, you're right. In your hearing, I don't know if you've considered this. I don't know if it'd be helpful, but you could have the house, and if all the kids go to the house, you've got room there, and I will gladly stay away and let you guys be. So I don't know if that's helpful. I'm just giving it to you if it is.
Thank you. And in the discussions with my attorney, that's the only way that we're going to retain custody of the children.
That's fine.
He is 35 years in this, and he said even if you are acquitted and are released, they will place legal restrictions on your access to the under 18 children.
I figured such. God told me when I was driving before I called you. I didn't have any information. I didn't know anything, and the Spirit said, your children are going to be removed. And I cried out loud. I'm like, no, I'm not done. I'm not ready. And God told me I'm done. And So Satan has taken everything away from me that I love. And I'm a good woman. I don't do naughty things. I'm a really good girl.
Ruby, I'm going to do everything that I can to keep truth in our family. And
thank you.
I'm committed to our family. I'm committed to you and our marriage, no matter what happens.
Thank you.
I will be here to support you in any way that I can.
Well, thank you for stepping up.
I do need to go, but
okay. All right.
Call me back when or if you need.
When will you find out? How can I call you? When should I call so I find out what they say?
I don't know how long this will go, but if you call this afternoon, I will know. This is a preliminary hearing, so there will be no...
Okay. Well, it's hard to get a phone around here. I asked for a phone, and it took hours to get it, so it may not be until later tonight. Okay.
That's fine.
Okay. All right. Good luck. I will be praying for you. Okay.
Thank you.
Bye.
Goodbye.
Bye.
They only released 3 recorded calls between Kevin and Ruby. But in a call that she had with her parents in October of 2023, she said that she hadn't spoken to him since around the first or second day since she had been arrested. His contact with her seemed to cease sometime in September of 2023. And by later that fall, he was working with law enforcement to help them fit together what happened to the family and what happened to the kids. And Kevin started to wake up from his fog. That doesn't mitigate his culpability. In my opinion, he was a victim of Jodi, but he was also part of this problem. Kevin is currently in the process of gaining custody of all of the children. And when you listen to these audios, it's very clear that Ruby's the one that drives their relationship, that's driving their faith She compares herself to Joseph Smith. She martyrs herself as though what she's going through is some sort of religious test, that she is in prison for a religious purpose. She speaks as though God speaks directly to her. She says that God told her that the kids were going to be taken, but she wasn't done abusing them yet. She truly believed that she was helping her kids and winning their souls and saving them from evil, and believed that she had a direct line to God, and believed that she had the truth. She does begin to wake up, and by December of 2023, her calls are very different. And she recognizes, at least on the surface, or at least she's playing the right role and saying the right things because she doesn't want to go to prison forever, but she's recognizing that she had things all wrong. But in the early days, she literally was believing her own hype. This is a woman that had delusions of grandeur. And it's ironic because in a call in December of 2023, she calls Jodi mentally ill, which I have no doubt that Jodi is a psychopath. But Ruby seems to have some level of religious OCD or some sort of untreated mental illness herself, because her obsession with faith and with having a conversation with God and the revelation she's receiving from God, she used all of that to justify abuse. Jodi 100% manipulated her, but in a way, I feel like Ruby was willing to be manipulated. Ruby liked the power that she had of knowing that she had something that other people didn't have, that she knew something others didn't, that everyone else was wrong and she was right. And it was that arrogance and that narcissism of hers that led her down this path. We'll do some more discussions because her journals are absolutely insane and will give you even more insight into her mind and what the kids went through. It's horrific. At least today, March 2024, Kevin has woken up and Kevin's fighting for change and Kevin's working with lawmakers to change laws, and he recognized that his ex-wife is a monster. Back then, he still was drinking her Kool-Aid. And Ruby believed that Jodi was a martyr and she was a martyr. And both of them spoke to God and for God. Tell me what your thoughts are about this in the comments below. Make sure to give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel if you haven't subscribed. Thank you for watching. Bye, guys.